Hello. Sorry, I'm having technical difficulties. I'm trying to figure out what the heck is going on. Hi, Molly. Good afternoon. How you doing today? Today we are doing we're finishing our stickers. We started them last week. It has been a long weekend, and now we're going to finish them here on today's stream. So welcome to Crafternoon. This is our hour of crafting that I like to do on Tuesdays and Thursdays this summer as a teacher who is on summer break but needs a little structure and needs a dedicated time for making. So welcome. Thank you for being here. You are doing good over there in Indiana. How is the weather? I always ask. I want to know how everybody's weather is. It is brutally hot over here in Texas. But, I can't complain. Some places in Texas are having a lot of like bad weather and we're not. So I'm very happy to report that. But we're going to go ahead and get started because we only have an hour and we're going to try to take our stickers that we made last week into production, right? So let me just do a little quick recap. Let's start over here. Let's make sure try that. Okay, see if everything is set up correctly. I have a lot of different setups for this stream today. So please know in advance that there may be technical error issues. And I'm just hoping that we, try to navigate this smoothly. So I also have to have my computer a lot closer than I normally do. So just forgive this right here. But, oh yeah, humid and some wildfire smoke. I've heard about that. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. And y'all are just like staying indoors, I'm guessing, because of the air quality or whatever. Wow. Well, stay safe out there. Okay, so last week, I don't know, this feels a little, let me see if I can lower the brightness. Maybe that will help a little. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so last week we were talking about how we take our drawings from our sketchbook and then turn them into something digital that we can produce, products with, right? And this is just my method. And again, I am an analog artist. I like to draw on paper with like pencils and markers, and I like painting on paper. So I take these drawings and then I turn them into some sort of a digital image that I can then use on other things. Now, one of the benefits for that, and the thing that I personally like, is just being able to capture the quality of a physical tactile drawing, right? It looks different than digital drawings. Digital drawings are really smooth and they're usually I know that a lot of artists worked very hard to capture a quality that feels like tactile, right? Or like feels analog. And I love that. When you see beautiful textures and brushes and all sorts of things, paper textures that you can add, I'm all about that. I have a lot of those on my iPad myself. But that's what I'm trying to capture. I'm trying to capture the real texture of my real drawings, right? So that's one thing that happens in my drawings that, you might like that or you might not. And I've had people tell me that they really like it. I've also heard people say they didn't like it. So I personally like it, and that's why I use it. And I appreciate when people come to me at markets and stuff and they say are these real drawings that you just turn? And I'm like, yes, they're all analog drawings. And so I am very pleased that some people really respond to that. And I know my stuff looks different. And there's a few artists. There's another artist that she and I talk about this a lot because she does watercolor paintings. And I think there's something really beautiful about seeing that in the images, right? Oh, you're so indoorsy. I love that. Yeah, I know. Right now I'm being indoorsy because it's so hot outside. But I wouldn't say I'm outdoorsy. I just I do like the heat. So, and I do like to be outside. I sometimes just need to go outside and lay in the sun for a while. So I just took this one as an example. I kept on thinking, should I just make a new one? Because I literally hate this. It's ugly. The colors are bland. And I apologize for using such a bland looking image, but for the sake of consistency, I'm just going to carry through with this. I'm going to show you how I turn these images into that. So here's what we did last week. We separated, and I went ahead and separated this so that it's a little bit clearer and easier to see, but I have a whole folder of just the images that are here, and we kind of cleaned them up a little bit. We removed the background and then we added a white border. So here are all my stickers. I'm going to take those away just for a second. And then I made a background, and the background is going to be what I'm going to have the whole sheet look like, right? So we're making kiss cut stickers, which means that we'll have stickers. Let me grab one right here. I have some right here. We'll have stickers like this that you can peel off the surface of the page, right? So that's what I want to get. I'm not making what we call die cut stickers, are the stickers that you, let's see if I can find one, that are removed from the page entirely, and then they have a little piece of backing paper, but they're totally removed, right? This is kiss cut, these are die cut. So that being said, what you need are two separate files. This is going to be my background. So I exported this to my computer in a PNG format, and I did that right here. We did share PNG, and I just put that background on there, okay? So that's why I have these little like groups, and that makes it easier to kind of select what you want, because you want one file for the background and then a separate file for the stickers, okay? Both of these I already exported to my computer, so I'm going to show you what I do once I get them to my computer, okay? So if you want to see how we did this, you can go back to last week, Thursday's live stream, because we did this live on the stream, okay? If you have questions, let me know. I will try my best to help you. I'm going to put that away for a sec, and we're going to switch over to my computer so that I can hopefully share with you what I'm going to be looking at. Okay, so I'm just going to make a few adjustments here. I'm going to toggle between sharing my computer screen and then going back to my drawing camera so that you can see when I bring these off the printer. But here you can see that I am in Cricut, right? So I have a Cricut. I don't know what you have, or if you do have one, but my Cricut was gifted to me by my sister. I asked, can I borrow your Cricut? And I want to try to figure out, and this was like 2 years ago, I want to try to figure out how to make my own sticker sheets. At the time, I was buying sticker sheets from a local printing company, but I didn't like the quality of them. And they were expensive. Like I had to order like 100. I just didn't want to do that. So I really wanted to try to learn. Couldn't figure it out. I tried for like a year, and I put it away, and I couldn't figure it out, and I put it away, and whatever. Yada yada. I finally figured it out, like, what was it, like last year? I don't know if you follow me on TikTok, I posted a video of myself making these, and I finally figured it out, and it went like semi-viral, and a lot of people were very excited about it, and they were like, thank you for explaining it. So I was like, obviously a lot of people really want to know how to do this. I'm gonna show you what I do, and I just figured it out from watching other people. Okay, so I'm just gonna share the system. I'm sure it's not perfect. And I'm sure there's better ways. So if you have a better way, or you see something like, oh, why don't you try this? Please share it with me, because I mean, I think it's working, but there's a couple of things I don't like, and I will tell you about that. Okay, so here, and just so you know, I'm gonna have a little. Oh no, I forgot. I have my chat over here open on my phone so I could see it, because I'm not gonna be able to really see it right there. But if anything is hard to see or it's not clear, will you please just let me know so that way I can adjust. Okay, so here I'm on Cricut Design Space, and I'm going to start by just starting a new project, right? So when I start a new project, I want to do blank canvas, and I just hit start designing. Just want to make sure everything is visible, right, guys? Nothing's getting chopped off. I feel like sometimes, like, I had to adjust the screen size here, so I don't know if everything's going to be visible. But if something doesn't look right, just let me know, okay? Okay, so now you can see that I am in the Cricut Design Space. I have a new canvas, and I'm going to add my images. So I'm going to upload here, and I'm going to select the images by browsing, and you can see I already have them here on my desktop. So I'm going to start by adding the background, and you can see I have the two separate images. And because they're PNGs like this one right here, there's no background. Even though it looks white, you're going to see it's going to be transparent. Okay, thank you, Em. So I'm going to add this, And I just go ahead and hit apply. I'm going to select flat graphic for this. And I like to name it just so I can keep track of everything. And I'm just going to call these daily stickers. And then I always put like BG for background. I have a little folder of sticker sheets, so I'm going to put it in there. Okay. It always tries to suggest things. I don't want it suggesting anything to me. Right now, this image is really big. You can see it's 9 by 12 inches. I would like for this to be 4 inches by 6 inches. It's going to make a little sheet that is small like this. Let me see if you can see this. It's going to make it kind of small like this. And that way I can fit 2 on one page, okay? So here's what I do. I just squish it all the way over here to 4 inches. I know it's all distorted and wacky right now. I would like, and I don't know if there's a way, I keep thinking like there has to be a way where I could just type in the size of this, but I don't know where that is. If you know, tell me. And then I put, oh, sorry. It's actually supposed to be 6 down here. My bad. 6 right here. Right there. And then 4 right here. And that's a pretty standard size, I guess. I mean, a lot of things come in that size. See, this is, that's annoying. Okay, there. And I also really like that the little page can fit in like a little bag that I have, like this 4x6 bags, so I can package them for my markets and stuff like that. Okay. So there, what is this right here? Oh, they're saying that the quality is really low. Now, mine tells me that all the time, and I print it anyway, and it usually looks fine. So, I mean, you could go back and resave it. It's probably ideal to make your canvas size on Procreate to make it 4x6. So it comes in at the exact size and at the exact resolution that you want. So I'm not going to worry about that right now, but you know, it's food for thought. It's something to think about for next time. So here's my image, and I'm going to upload the other image with the stickers. So let's go ahead and grab that one here. Same thing for everything. Apply and continue, flat graphic. And I'm just going to name it here. Daily stickers, like that. I'm going to put in that folder again. Right here. Give that a second. There we go. Okay, so now that I have the background already sized to exactly what I want, all I really need to do is size it here. And so again, I still kind of see like some issues because this should be a little bit more proportionate. If I just go like edge to edge, that's what it would look like, but we need a little bit of space for the cutter. So I like to bring it just inside a little bit so it fits a little bit more like appropriately for that space. Now, I have also been known to kind of like distort my image a little by stretching it from one side if I want it to fit a little bit more like appropriate. And I think that again, that just stems from me not using a 4x6 image like size on Procreate. So if I could go back and do this all over again with you, I would start with a 4x6 image and I would bring everything in that size, and then everything would be sized correctly. Okay, so just throwing that out there. So here's my image, and you can see I just kind of put them together, but this is transparent. It doesn't have anything in the background, and then this is my background. Okay, now just to explain a couple of things, here's what I want to do. Hold on, let me just check this here. Okay, let me adjust my camera here. What if I move my camera over here? Is this better? Sorry, I was informed that my camera is blocking a little. How's that? Is that any better? Just let me know. Okay, so this Kiss Cut sticker sheet. Let me see if I can get back over here. Sorry. Okay, Kiss Cut sticker sheet is going to cut this is what I want. I want it to cut all the individual stickers so I can peel them off, but I also wanted to cut this out. So I don't have to worry. I don't have any to show you, but so I don't have to worry about going and cutting it manually, okay? So I wanted to do two things. But here's the issue that I have. In order for it to cut this just a little bit, right? but not all the way through the paper, just a little bit. So it releases, it cuts through the top surface, but not through the back page. It needs to cut pretty lightly. It can't cut that deep. But to cut this out, it needs to cut deep to remove the entire thing, right? And with one cutting setting on Cricut for this one image, you can't like have the best of both worlds, right? Gentle cut and a deep cut, right? So here's what I do to resolve that. I just have Cricut cut this many times, right? So if it cuts once and then it cuts again on that same line, and it cuts again on that third time on that line, it's going to release it, right? And then I have it only cut this one time. Okay, so that I want you to know that in advance so you can know why I'm doing what I'm about to do. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I want the deep cut. And I want this entire sheet to be removed. So to do that, I want to tell it to cut it 3 times. And in fact, I think I'm going to do 4 today because I did 3 yesterday and it wasn't quite releasing all the way, and then I had to go to a paper cutter and cut it manually. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this, I'm going to select the background, and I'm going to duplicate it using my you can do, I think you can do duplicate like this. I do Control D on my keyboard, but there's duplicate. And I'm going to turn this into, sorry, a basic cut. Yeah, right there, basic. Okay, now I'm going to do that as many times as I wanted to cut. So it's going to cut the first one. You can see the one back here. It's going to cut. Then this is the second cut. Then I wanted to do a 3rd time and maybe a 4th time. Yesterday I did 3 extra ones, and I don't think it was enough. Let's do one more just in case, you know. The only thing that could possibly go wrong with that, and you're going to see it in a bit, is that I have kind of like cut into my mat a little bit. I mean, is that a big deal? I don't know. I don't know that much about Cricut, so, you know, it doesn't bother me, but, you know, if you want to protect your mats, you might just want to do the 3, and then it might come out. Or maybe it depends also on the paper you're using, all sorts of things, okay? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take all of these images right here. I'm selecting them all so you can see them. You can see them here on the sides. Oh, I should probably move my camera again, or no? Can you all still see my layers with my big face there? I can also make my face smaller. Like, it doesn't need to be that big. There we go. That's better, right? I'll put it right here. I don't think anyone's going to see there. Okay. So I'm going to take all of these right here. And actually, before I do it, I'm going to move this one to the top because I want this one to be in front of the other ones. So these are our layers. It's showing us the order that everything is on the screen. And I'm going to select all of these different ones. And I'm just going to align them using the center alignment tool. So it's going to bring everything into alignment, right? Because we just want them to cut on the same line every single time. And I'm going to group them all together because I don't want them to get separated. So you can see I created a group and now I can move them all as one little thing. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to put this right here, and that one is going to give me, you can see now I have essentially 5 cuts. It's going to go over it 5 times just to release it from the main page. Okay. And then this one doesn't need any more cuts because the setting that I use is going to be just perfect for this kiss cut. Okay, so I'm going to just bring this back right where I want it, right there. Let's nope, a little bit higher. There we go. Okay, make sure you have room on the edges so that way it doesn't, the blade doesn't get too close to the edge. I have this one and this one. I'm going to select both of them, and I also group them. And I just keep them together just like that. And once I have that set, it's ready to print, right? But I want to do 2. If I can fit 2 on this page, I want to use all of my paper. So I'm going to go ahead and take this group and I'm going to duplicate it. So you can just do, can I do duplicate? Yeah. Duplicate. So now I have a second copy all grouped together. I just put them next to each other like that. Now I'm going to have 2 printed at the same time, and it will cut the 2 at the same time. I've tried to fit 3 on here. I can't do it. I really don't like that Cricut doesn't tell me. Like, I think personally that Cricut should have a little box there that tells me how big my image area is. And then I would be creative about trying to fit it in because it's really wonky. I mean, I've kind of figured out a way to make them bigger, but I can still just do 2. I don't know. That's just me. One day when I'm in charge of Cricut, I'll fix that. But that's why I don't like Cricut. I'm just gonna say I hate Cricut. It's like the machine, I mean, obviously it does its job, but it's like really, finicky. I have a lot of trouble with it all the time. I have heard good things about the sizer one, so someday I'm gonna get that. Okay. So I got the two. I want them both to print on one single page, so it's very important that you attach the two together. So you can see I selected both of them, and I'm going to use this paper clip tool here, attach. And what that's going to do is make sure that they're not going to get separated when the printing starts, okay? So now it's ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and hit make. So I'm going to, I don't really mess with anything here. I just make sure the material size is still 8.5 by 11. That's the size of the paper I'm printing on. It is not very user-friendly at all. I want to get something else someday, maybe. We'll see. So I'm at 8.5 by 11 here. I don't need to do anything else. I don't change the copies. I was having a lot of trouble with the next step. Let's see if it works today. So I hit next, and then I'm going to send it to my printer. Now, my printer that I'm using is the Epson ET2800. I really love this printer. I will say it's a little bit slow, but everybody says to use a system dialog box. I had a lot of trouble with this the past few days. It's a new issue that's happened. Let's see. Today it worked. Hallelujah. I saw that it worked a little bit earlier. And the only reason I select this is because everybody says that the printing looks better. And actually today I have an example, so we can actually look at them in just a bit. So let's go ahead and get it printing because it might take a minute to get it here. So the only thing I do here that's different is I'm going to change the media quality, and I always select photo matte paper because I'm using matte, what is it called? It's called matte vinyl sticker paper. That's what I'm using. I'll show you the one I'm using as well in a sec. Okay, and I'm going to hit print, and I'm just going to let that happen. It's going to be a little noisy, so just a heads up. And then I hit done. Okay. Let me also connect my Cricut because I didn't connect it earlier today. So my Cricut is right nearby me, and it is hopefully going to connect. Yes, no issues, thank God. But in the meantime, while we're waiting for that, I will show you a couple of things, okay? So we'll come back to this shortly. Let me come back over here for a second. Let's come back to the drawing camera so I can show you. Okay. So I'm going to show you my, okay, well, we'll see how these look. But I mean, these are some that I was printing for Patreon, right? So one of the things that I noticed is that, like, I don't know, it's really hard to tell because I used two really textured surfaces here to try to create tactile surfaces. But, the printing was You can see those little, well, you can kind of see the stripes, right? I don't know if that's the stripes or it's that weird, like, sweater texture that I put on there. So, but this is the printout that I get from the Epson ET2800. Now, I like this printer a lot, and I'm just going to share with you. I'm not trying to sell you anything. Use whatever printer you have, right? I got this one because I wanted the one that you can put the ink in. That it's like a little bottle, and you just like refill the ink yourself, because I've heard that it lasts a lot longer, and it does. Like, I will tell you, I printed a lot of stickers, like, I want to say hundreds, but that sounds really dramatic. But I printed a lot, and I've only filled it one time. Actually, I filled it twice, but I've only had to buy ink once. I've had it for, I don't know, like a year maybe. But the one thing I will say is that it's a little bit slow. So she's kind of taking her time right now. I also have a laser printer, a color laser printer, and the quality is just not that great on that one. So, and then you need a different paper for the laser. So it's just like, to make things easier, I think one good printer, there's a version of the Epson one that I'm using that's like a little bit higher quality. Like, I think it's like $600. Mine was about $300 maybe. The better one is the one, like, someday when I get my sizer and I get my new Epson, that's what I'll get. But anyway, so it's printing for me, And I just wanted to share with you what I'm using for the paper. I don't think I have a package to show you because I'm using the last of this package, but the one I'm using is a matte vinyl sticker paper, and I do think that that matters somewhat. Now, I personally don't love a vinyl sticker. I prefer a paper sticker. But I have had a lot of trouble with getting like a good quality print on the matte sticker paper, and I have so much trouble cutting glossy sticker paper. So the glossy ones look beautiful, but they're such a pain to cut. For my particular Cricut, it just doesn't read it. So I have a lot of trouble with that one. Let me scoot this over because I think we're going to be able to get back over to the we're gonna have the printout in just a second. So here's my cutting mat. Let me get these out of the way. And I'm going to show you how here's our printout. See how long that took? Okay, so when you get this from Cricut Printing, it's going to have this little like guides here. And these are really important because your Cricut has to read them, and that's how it's going to know where to cut everything. So if you don't put this on your mat correctly, your cuts are going to be off. If you have glossy paper and the gloss is creating a shine that your Cricut can't see, which happens to me all the time, you're going to have trouble cutting, and it's going to be really annoying, and you're going to get sick and tired of your Cricut, and you're going to want to throw it out the window. So, make your life a little easier. I have found that the matte vinyl paper, and I use the one from the Koala brand, which I get on Amazon, I have heard of other ones that are better. So I'm considering trying other ones too. But that's the only one that I've had. Like, I like the quality of the print. I think it looks pretty good. It looks pretty like true to my image. There are some things that look a little off. Like when I printed this one, I feel like that doesn't look like it looks so much darker than it was supposed to. And look, let me show you this right here. So this is a different sticker sheet, but like these I made for my patrons, right? And yesterday, because my printer dialogue settings weren't working, this is how I had to print it with regular Cricut settings. And you can see it's not the same, like it definitely looks better down here. This is with the printer settings. So, that's the difference there. If you can tell, I'll just put it real close, you can see. This is the Cricut printing settings, and this is my printer settings. So right there, sorry, just so you can see the difference. Okay, so maybe that matters to you. So I'm going to put this here, and you can see that the area with the little arrow, there's a tiny little arrow here. I'm going to line that up on the top left corner, and I use this as my orientation all the time. I just got this little squeegee thingy, and I use this to just get a nice flat stick, right? Now, I'm going to put this in the Cricut. You're not going to be able to see that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to like load it up, right? So what I'm going to show you in a sec, let me just scoot this over here. I'm going to put it on the Cricut. Okay. What I need to do here is this is what I select. And these are I bookmarked the ones that I use the most. I use the washi tape setting right here. So I'm going to click on that one. And I use the default pressure. It works well for mine. And then when I do that, it's automatically going to, turn on my Cricut. So now my Cricut is like alerting me that it's ready for me to load the mat. So let me load it. And you'll definitely hear this because it is very noisy. And then the Cricut light goes on and it tells you that it's ready to go. So once I hit that, you can see it starting to scan. You're probably going to hear it. And we will see if everything goes according to plan. So this does take a little while. Oh, I think I was going to try something else with you guys. Ooh, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Because one thing that I was going to do, let me show you. I'll show you again. I'm going to just go ahead and open a new window. I don't know if it'll let you see it. Let me try. Actually, I was going to see if I could do, okay, no. I think what I was going to show you is how to add your own border. Let's see if we can open this one. Okay, this is what I'm doing right now. I'm just opening in a new window so that I could like play with it a little and show you some things. How loud is that that cricket for you guys? Can y'all hear it or no? Okay. So what I was just going to show you, actually mine is cutting pretty well, but one thing that I do notice that kind of is really annoying is, let me show you here. Let me detach. Okay, we're going to detach everything. I'm going to show you this right here. Okay. So what I want to show you is this. Let me get rid of this one. Okay. Right here. So one thing that I do sometimes, because when I bring in my image from Procreate, sometimes the little white border is a little jagged. It's like, you can't really tell. Let me see if we can tell from getting really close. This one doesn't look jagged, which is a miracle. Most of the time, it's jagged. And it's very small. You really can't tell until Cricut starts cutting. And when Cricut starts cutting, you're going to see that that was jagged, because it's going to cut every single little pixel if they're visible to it. And it'll usually cut fine, but it takes forever, and I don't want it to do that. So what I do sometimes is I'll come here to Cricut Design Space, and I'll use the effects tool, and I use the offset tool. Now, everyone tells me, they told me this on the TikTok video that went like viral. They were like, why don't you just use the sticker tool? And I will tell you that the reason why I'm not, let me show you what it does first. Okay, so this is going to put a little border around all the stickers, and you can see it. It's kind of giving you a view of it right here. That blue outline tells you how thick that border is going to be. That's way too thick, right? So I usually make this pretty small. I'll go like 1.5 and I just test it. I see what it looks like. Okay, that's still too big. So sometimes I'll just add 0.15. It's very small. There, you can see it's very, very small. It's pretty much going to be the same size. Let me make it even smaller as the border I already have, but I just want for it to like clean up the edge, right? So I'll apply that, like let's say a 0.01 inch offset, hit apply, and you can see now that there's this little like gray border, right? I turn that into white, or I want it to match the border I already put on there. And then I flatten these two together. So I'll put them together like this. I'll select the two right here. And then I will hit flatten. And what that's going to do is you're going to make sure that it cuts it one time on that larger line, right? And if you do that, it's going to, Cricut offset is going to give you a much cleaner, neater outline than Procreate does sometimes. Now, some people have told me to use the sticker option, but the reason why I didn't like that one, it does the same thing. However, it locks you into a certain paper when it comes time for the cutting settings, and it won't let me choose the setting I like, which is the washi tape. It'll tell me I have to use a certain like sticker paper. So that's why I don't use the sticker option, even though they tried to make it like easier for everyone by putting that on there. It tells you, you better be using this Cricut paper, otherwise you can't make adjustments, and I didn't like that. So my cutting is done. Let me grab it. So I'm just going to hit the little arrows to unload it. Let me show it to you. Whoops, I'm lost. Hold on. I'm like, where did everything go? Sorry, here we go. Let's go back to this. Okay, so now fingers crossed everything cut right, because sometimes, again, you know, I said like Cricut is a little glitchy, so I usually just fold this back. Oh yeah, see, didn't quite cut them out. And see, you can see, look, it kind of cut them out, but you kind of have to like coax it out of here. And I don't want to have to do that. And I did an extra one too, so that's kind of crazy. I don't love that. I don't expect it to be like perfectly removed all the way around every single time, but usually, I mean, I've had lots of instances where it comes out a lot better than that. So now I have to go and use my paper cutter to cut off these little scraggly bits, okay? Eh, it's not the end of the world, but again, I mean, if it's already cutting, it might as well cut it, right? So this is what we get. And now I have these little stickers, and I have had some trouble with sometimes randomly, and I don't even know why. Cricut just cuts wherever it wants, or it looks like it's like slightly off, and I think that often that has a lot to do with this. And I've had trouble with that whenever I'm doing glossy paper, because with glossy I have to do all these hacks. I have to put tape on there. People have said use this invisible tape or whatever, invisible satin tape or whatever it is. People have said use, and these are what I have handy, a wax crayon. I didn't know what kind of crayon to use. I used black, but people have said that they use just any color. And I'm like, what? How could you just use any color on these black lines? I don't know. I just use the black one. But sometimes I've had unexplainable issues with Cricut. And the problem I think with Cricut is just that, I mean, I don't know. I know a lot of people are Cricut pros. I am not one. I barely know how to do this. I know how to make regular stickers. I've made bookmarks. I really want to try the vinyl, like heat set vinyl stuff. But I know that some people know how to do a lot of things, and I'm not one of those people. But I do feel like in my experience, Cricut doesn't have a lot of support other than the community. And then everything is like so like different, because I've looked at some papers on, like, let's say Amazon, and it's like, oh, I love this one, it printed so great, and then my Cricut cut it out awesome, and I'm like, cool, let me get it, but my Cricut can't read it. So I don't know. And the one I've had the most trouble with is the koala satin finish matte sticker paper. It's not vinyl. And no, it's not matte. It's a satin paper, sticker paper. And it just, no matter what I do, it cannot read it. I've done like one layer of tape, I run it through, it doesn't read it. I put another layer of tape, I run it through, it doesn't read it. I try the crayon, run it through, it doesn't read it. I try the crayon, another layer of tape on top of the crayon, put it through, finally reads it. And then it only reads it on one, but it won't read it on all the rest of them. So I just feel like there's so much like lacking in Cricut support. I mean, I don't know. I don't want Cricut to get mad at me. This is just my experience. But I mean, I'm grateful that I have this little toy to cut some stickers on, because I really like making stickers. Like, I like making whatever I want, right? I want to put things in my planner, and I go, you know what? I really want some little faces that I can, put on my journal just for how I was feeling that day. I really wanted some little faces. So I just drew my own little faces and I put them there, and I made my own sticker sheets, right? I love that I can do this. I said, I'm going to make my own little planner stickers that I can put in there to represent things that I normally will draw into my planner, right? So I love that I can make whatever I want. I found these images on Pinterest, and I just made myself some stickers that I could put into my planner. I just made these stickers. Like, I could make whatever I want, and I love that. But I don't know. I feel like there's a lot to be desired with the Cricut, and I think it can be better, but I just use it for what works for me, and I hope that everything works. I'm constantly trying different things. I have tried different papers. I've tried different, sometimes I laminate the stickers. So there's just so many things. We can't see the bottom on the, I'm so sorry. I'm just seeing this now. We can't see the bottom on the Cricut side. Okay, so if we're not there, it's okay, right? So sometimes I'll even take I take one of these little corner punch rounder thingies. So if you're getting my stickers in the mail this month, my patrons, just know this is what I'm doing. This is how I'm doing it. So I make them like that. They are kiss cut. They remove really nicely with that setting. Let me see if I can grab something to stick it on. Oops, I'm just clanking things around. I don't have my other journal here that I can just start putting stickers onto. And I don't want to put it, I'm not sure I want it on here because I have different stickers here. Just put it on there. But I mean, these are really nice. I like the vinyl paper, but I prefer like regular paper. So I don't know, that's just me. But I love that I can make whatever I want whenever I want to. My idea with these is that these would be like days when I get a walk in. I'll put that little shoe there. And when I did my skincare or sunblock, I would put it on there. When I had art time, I would put a little palette down. And I just wanted them to be kind of like cohesive. Why do you make them on the 4x6 size? Not sure if I asked this before. Tristan, I make them 4x6 because I was trying, there was two things. I wanted to try to fit 2 pages on there. 5x7 couldn't really fit. I don't know if you've had trouble with that. I did manage to get these, which I took a lot of time to figure out the perfect size that would fit them on there. But I can't fit more than that, which is so crazy. Look at how much waste there is, I think. Like, why don't we just go all the way to the edge? Like, the mat is literally so much bigger than this. That doesn't make sense to me that we're wasting all that paper. Because then I would use all of that paper. Or like I've tried like, okay, well, what if I put them like this? And then I try to fit another one there. I tried to fit 3 on there so much. But 4x6, I liked that I could put them in these little plastic sleeves, right? And so there was like a really easy size that would fit. But also, this was the main thing, that I could fit them here. So did that make sense? I don't know if there's a better way to do it. I did manage to figure out that this size, I can also fit 2 on here. And you can see it's a little bit larger. But what did I do to get that? I think I measured. I used the template that they have on Cricut, and I measured out the size that they have there at the very end. But I mean, it's really, the thing is that it changes. Like sometimes I wish I just took out my studio trash this morning. But sometimes this is really like big, and then other times it's small. And I don't know what rhyme or reason Cricut has for not, let me come back over here real quick because I want to share this. Like, it makes sense to me. Let me zoom out. Is that better, Em? You tell me. It makes sense to me. If I were the CEO of Cricut, it seems to make sense that you should have like a little, drawing of what it's going to look like and where it's going to fit. Like, doesn't that make sense to you? So like when we get here, I'm just going to show you this again. When we get here, oh, whoops, I forgot to, this is what happens when you don't attach them. Let me come back. When I attach them, I'm going to go to make. And now when you attach, they'll stay on one page, right? But look at all this extra space. Like that tells me I should be able to make them bigger, but I don't know how big they can go. So let me show you what's one thing you can do. This is what I have seen, right? So I have them attached. So if you go like this, right, you get this little red warning and it tells you it's too big, right? So the maximum size for this shape is 9.26 by 6.76. So I know I cut that out of the paper so that I could see the shape and the size. But because it has that weird, awkward, shape, it's kind of like, I feel like I could be better utilizing the space. So sometimes I'll just do this, like 1 micro inch at a time until I get there. And I go, okay, can I go a little further here? I mean, that's silly, right? But then I end up with this really like strange size that doesn't fit in a perfect little bag like this or whatever, you know. I mean, it doesn't really matter ultimately. Let's see how this looks. Look. Oh my gosh. I got really close to the edge. But like, why this? Why is there that little gap there? Like, I mean, I'm frugal. And I mean, it seems to me like I should be using that paper. Like, why is that not being used? I don't know. Maybe that's crazy, but it seems to me like I should be able to use that instead of, wasting it. Why waste it, right? I don't know. So anyway, back at it. Let's come back here. Done. We did it, right? That was easy. Now it did take me a really long time to figure out how could I cut this out and this. Like when I first started doing this, I was just cutting the little kiss cut, and I would take this to a paper cutter and cut it myself, which is also fine, right? But then I was like, it's a cutting machine. Why am I doing half the work? Like, do it, right? Do it, Cricut. Get it together. So then I saw somebody doing that. I don't remember where I saw it, maybe on TikTok or something. And I tried it, and it took me a minute for me to like click and understand why they were doing that. A lot of times people will just say to do it, but I don't understand why are we doing more than one. And now I get it. But I didn't understand how the Cricut worked when I was first starting. And so I'm very much a big picture kind of person. I always have to know why. And everyone's always like, why are you asking so many questions? I don't know. I need to know. It helps me to understand if I understand how the machine is operating, things like that, right? So anyway, all that to say, I still really enjoy the ability to make my own stickers whenever I want, of whatever I want. And I think it's really cool that, Cricut will do that work for me. So I mean, I'm grateful for it, but I also recognize that there's a lot of issues with Cricut. My sister who gave me this machine, like she lent it to me, and then I like hadn't given it back to her, and she was like, oh, I just bought a new one. So then she's like, you can keep that one. And then she got the newer one, and she has had so much trouble with it. She cannot do so many things with it. And to the point where she has, I think it was the Air. It was still an Explorer. I'm using the Cricut Explorer Air 2, and I think she had the 4 or something like that. And yeah, she has a lot of trouble with it. And in fact, somebody gave her an Explorer Air 2, and so now she has that one too. And I think that's the one she's using because she also is having a lot of trouble with it. So I don't know. I just don't understand how Cricut can be like this, like huge company, and they're just don't care that we can't figure things out, and there's very little resources. So anyway, if you can find an Explorer Air 2, which apparently like there were a lot of issues with the new one, if you can find it like on Facebook or something, you should get it there, because I think that one has been better. But I don't know. I don't have the maker. A lot of people have the maker, and they say good things about that. I can cut like leather and all that stuff like that. I don't have that. But I do think that when I do buy myself a new one, I'm going to try I wanted to try the Juliet, which is the sizer machine. I know they also have a Romeo, but I don't really understand what the difference is other than the fact that it comes with a lot of stuff like accessories. So anyway, I hope you guys will try making your own stickers or your own sticker sheets. Give it a shot. Tell me if it works for you. Show me what you make. I would love to see what you're making. If you want like a list of the tools I'm using, I will share that with you on Patreon. And maybe if you want to buy the paper or whatever, you want to know which one I'm using, I will share it with you, so that way you can get it if you're interested. Of course, I feel like you should just try different ones on your particular printer, because I've had some good stuff print on this printer and then some that look terrible. Just the paper matters, which, surprise, surprise, right? So anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. I had a really fun time today at today's Crafternoon. You guys have a special, exciting plan for next Crafternoon, which will be on Thursday. I know I've told some of you my birthday is coming up, so I think we're going to do something really, really exciting and scary. I think I've been wanting to try stained glass. So I saw this kit and I think I'm going to get it for my birthday, and we're going to try it like, crafting for dummies on Thursday because I've never done it and I'm literally scared. So anyway, come back on Thursday. I will see you then. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful day, and we'll talk again soon, okay? Bye.